Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at Corsair's new range of fans. Now we have several different versions. The AFs, which are the red ones, are the airflow ones. These are designed to be your case fans. Then we've got the SP fans. These are static pressure. These are predominantly radiators, but they do also kind of class for heat sinks as well. We've also got different types because they've brought out quiet editions and high performance editions for both the SP120, so the static pressure 120s, and the AF120s, so the airflow 120s. There's only a quiet edition of the 140 at the moment, but we've got one of these to take a look at anyway. What I'm going to do is bring the camera in to have a look, and then we'll also have a look at some of the specs and stuff that they say about on the back. But yeah, it's time for me to move the camera, get my remote back out of my pocket, and we can take a look. Right then peeps, so we have the range of fans. Now I'm going to start with the SPs, so the static pressure, and then we've got these two, which are the quiet editions, and then we've got the high performance editions as well. Now, basic, quiet edition, obviously 120mm, 1450 RPM, 23 dBA, and then on the high performance edition, 2350 RPM, so 900 RPM faster, and then 35 dBA. But if we spin the boxes round, we can see it says airflow is 37.85 CFM against 62.74 CFM. These are at 12 volts, by the way. 1450 RPM, 2350 RPM, we already knew that. 23 dBA, 35 dBA, and then static pressure at 12 volt is 1.29 mm H2O against 3.1 mm H2O. So they're the stats for the SPs. But I think it would be, what we'll do is we'll look at the stats, and then we'll open the boxes so that we can give them a look. So that's those. So quiet and performance. We'll come back round here again. So these are the AF120s. We have 39.88 CFM against 63.47 CFM, 110 RPM. 1100 RPM against 1650 RPM, 21 dBA, 30 dBA, static pressure is 0.5 mm H2O against 1.1 mm H2O. Now, to put that into context, what I'm going to do just quickly, we'll grab the two quiet editions and the two performance editions just to compare that static pressure and the CFM. 37.85 CFM against 39.88 CFM. That's blue versus red, static pressure versus airflow. Move down, static pressure 1.29 against 0.5, so a big difference there. And then we've got again airflow, static pressure. Airflow 63.47 CFM against 62.74 CFM. See, the CFM difference is really not that great with these, and I mean the difference, but then we've got 1.1 mm H2O against 3.1 mm H2O, so the static pressure difference on the SP series is massive. So we have those. Now the fan blades are different between the two, and that's what makes the difference between the static pressure and the airflow, but we'll look at that when we open the boxes. Just quickly at the AF140, just to give you some stats, we have 67.8 CFM, 0.84 mm H2O and 24 dBA, and that's at 1150 RPM. So, right, I'm just going to open the quiet ones because the fans are essentially the same aesthetically. Right, did you see that one disappear then? Can you see it? Yes, you probably did. Oh well, right, so we'll open the box. Let's bust a move. Come on, Thomas. Destroying the box. They are well in there. Right, so that's the box open on the SPs. And then we'll also bust the box open quickly. On the airflows, on the AFs. Right, so we have the two fans, but what I'm going to do is zoom you in. Move the camera a bit. Lovely. That way. Oh, anyone think I was getting good at this? Right, so two different fans. We'll ignore the fans for the minute and we'll see what's in the end boxes. So opening it up, it's quite simple. We have fan speed reducers and 4 case mount screws. That's for each of them. If we open the other end of the box, I don't know whether there's anything in here yet. It doesn't appear that there is. There's not. So if we take the fan out for each, what do we find underneath? Now underneath we have a Corsair Solutions Guide, which basically gives you a whole range of the Corsair products. There is a stop, do not return this product to the store warning, but there's also the rings to be able to change the tops of the fans. So I'm blatantly going to fit the white one. Now I've obviously never done this before, so I'm trying to work out how to pull them off. There we go. So there's that. Oh, they clip in underneath there. It's quite a simple thing really. They've got 4 little tabs around the edge of the ring, and they go in at the edge where the there we go. So that's it changed. So we've now changed that from blue to white. So the blue was the SP. Does it say on the back? Dum, 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 dum. Actually doesn't say SP on it anywhere. So if you had a load of these and you got them mixed up, that could be quite interesting. You'd have to tell by the blades. But anyway, we've changed that to the white one now, just so it doesn't get confusing for you guys for the time being, and also for me, because I can be a bit slow at times. Right, we have the two fans side by side. Hopefully somewhere where you can actually see them, Tom. Right, so two fans side by side. On the right we have the static pressure. You can see quite big fat blades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blades in total. On the left hand side we have the airflow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Count it again just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I kept forgetting where I'd started. So 9 blades in total on the airflow. You can see the pitch on the airflow blades is actually quite... There we go. You can see the pitch is quite... The angle's quite extreme. They're not kind of pointing straight downwards, but you can see that the static pressure is quite relaxed. You can see a lot more of the blade. So the static pressure is kind of more flat, and the airflow is kind of more horizontal and vertical is probably the words I should be using for you, really. So we can see the difference between the blades there. With the airflow, there's also on the blades, I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to get the camera to see around the back, but there's angles on the actual support braces around the back as well to help the air. And looking on those ones, it's actually slightly different on those as well. But there are angles around the back. You can see around the back of the fans. You can see there quite well the difference between the two, the pitch on the two blades. Size of the blades is different as well. Obviously there's more on one of the other ones. Around the edge, we've got these kind of, they're anti-vibration mounts. I was trying to see whether I could actually remove them altogether. But you can see that it's quite soft. I can get hold of these. It goes through to the outside, so you've got like a rubber washer there. But yeah, I was trying to see whether I could remove the rubber altogether, but it doesn't seem to want to let me. Obviously it's not something you're going to want to do at home, but it was just so that I could get it out and show you properly. But yeah, You can see that it's soft, so you've got a rubber bush there. When you put it down, it doesn't really, it's not enough rubber to be able to catch on the desk, but obviously you're not going to have anything really in the middle. If you had a heatsink, it might have been a better idea to have had bigger, thicker ones so that you had more rubber touch in the heatsink. But yeah, it's not really there. It only really matter at the edges if you had like your case was around the outside, or your heatsink was around the outside, but I can definitely get it to catch on this middle bit. Not really any rubber there. For those of you that understand why I'm doing that, it's fine. I'm not going to try and explain to those that don't. But anyway, so those rubber bits don't really come out that far. So if it wasn't, if this was your heatsink, basically the rubber's not really catching on the heatsink at all. You're still just getting contact with the plastic. Hopefully that will be okay. Right, so we have those two different types of fans. I'm just quickly going to show you the 140 airflow. Obviously a lot more cases nowadays are coming with 140mm fans, especially in the back, because they're quieter and they can shift a fair bit more air. I'm a bit disappointed, if I'm honest, that they've not done a static pressure 140. The reason for that being, again, we're getting a lot more water cooling radiators coming through now with 140mm fans. Also, there are several air heat sinks out there now with 140mm fans. NHD14, for argument's sake, has got a 140 in the middle. I think maybe the reason why Corsair haven't done the static pressure one is because none of their range at the moment requires a static pressure 140. Maybe it's that. I think it might have been better long term for a lot of people because, excuse me, like I said, to give us the options for those 140 radiators and stuff rather than having to use these. But anyway, pretty similar kind of design to the 120. Difference being, I'm going to hold the blade this time and count round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 11 blades this time. Other than that, it's pretty much exactly the same. We've got the same fan speed reducer. We've got the rings again, the screws. There's nothing extra in the box at all, so they're pretty much all exactly the same. So we've had a look at the fans, we've had a look at the specifications. I have to admit, I'm not really one that I really want to test the fans mega scientifically. I'm not like that. With stuff like these, I like to see that they, that they work. And 9 times out of 10 with fans, I normally, personally, end up buying them because they look nice or they just work absolutely amazingly. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to fit these into my, what I call my interim rig, which is the rig that I built to kind of tide me over until Orca. I've obviously got a H100 in that, so I'm going to be using the static pressure fans on the H100. I'm going to change the front fans for the two front fans for the airflow fans, which I'm going to go with the quiet ones, and the quiet ones on the H100 as well. And then it's also got a 140mm mount in the back of the case, so I'm going to use the 140 in the back of that. So I'm now going to go and put this all together. Rather, I will give you a look, but I'm shooting this video a fair bit ahead of time, and I'm going to shoot the ending and my conclusion after a couple weeks of me using these, because really that's when you can really get a feel for this kind of thing to see whether you actually like them or not. But anyway, I'm going to shush and I will be back shortly. Right then peeps, just a quick look at the fans installed. The case is a 500R and the whole rig itself is my interim rig before I build my Orca system. But I put them in this because I thought the best way was for me to actually test them by sitting next to them for a little bit. Now, all the fans have been run on 12 volts. I'm obviously using the quiet ones because everyone knows I'm a quiet freak. But this is the fans in the front. Again, like I said, I've taken the front off. This is just to show you. I use the white rings because the 500R I've got is white. So you can see those in the front. They're obviously the airflow fans. And I'm just going to reposition the case so that I can show you the other fans quickly, or actually from here we can easily look at the 140 AF in the back. Again, this case was brilliant because I can have the 120 airflows in the front, 140 airflow in the back, and I've got 120 static pressures in the roof, so the AFs and the SPs. Anyway, I'm just going to rejig now so I can show you the SPs. Right, there we go. We've got the SPs in the roof. They're on the inside of the case. H100 is on the outside of the case. Motherboard is a P9X79 Pro Asus board. CPU is a 3960X. We run the pump and we run the H100 at maximum basically, but the fans are wired directly to a Molex so that they're just 12 volts. Graphics card in there is a 7970. AX650 power supply with the custom Corsair white cables. So there's 2 AF120s in the front, quiet editions, 2 SP120s on the H100 in the roof, and they're bringing air from inside the case and pushing it out, for those of you that couldn't work that out yourself. They're also quiet editions, and then we've got the AF140 in the back, again exhausting outside of the case. What I'm going to do, I've shown you the rig now, told you the bits. We're going to talk about the results and kind of roll it all in as part of the conclusion. So sadly, it's time for you all to see my ugly mug. Right then peeps, moving on to the conclusion, and I'm going to get this conclusion right. I've got my microphone clipped on this time, and I'm being toasted even more by my studio lights, because people keep thinking I do fake baked cans, but believe it or not, it is the studio lights. It's the only thing it can be. Anyway, right. I'm going to say the award and then I'm going to explain why, but let me kind of explain something. I am starting to wish Corsair would make a bad product so that I've got something to pick at, just to shut the trolls up for a bit. But this present moment in time, they seem to be churning out a lot of nice stuff. And only by being stupidly picky, and by stupidly picky I mean almost looking for an argument, can I really find much wrong at the moment. And by looking for an argument, I mean quite literally just being argumentative about stuff and not really being fair at all. Now, I have done that a couple of times in the past, but not really without, you know, good measure. But yeah, I did properly kind of start this review expecting these not to be any good, and was kind of really geared up to give them a kick in, because everybody knows I like Noctua fans, always have done. But these have kind of, they've set me back a bit really. Where I was aiming to come in and give them a kick in, the fact that I've not really been able to find anything wrong with them is, like I said, it's set me back a bit. But at the same time, not only could I not really find anything wrong with them, they've ended up completely changing my mind. So I'll tell you the award, Gold Award, without a second thought in my mind, and I'll explain to you why. And we kind of we'll talk about the SP120s, start off with the static pressure 120s. I've used the quiet ones. One thing I will say right from the beginning is if you want to use the performance models, fine. They will drop your temperatures a little bit more, but the trade-off will be a lot more noise, because basically they're the same fans, they just spin a shitload faster. So by spinning faster, you're going to create more noise, so you've got that trade-off. If you're not worried about noise, then buy those ones. If you're like me and you like your quiet, then you want to buy these ones. But we'll talk about temps. So on the H100, I've tested a few fans on the H100. If you go with the Corsair original fans, 64.8 degrees average temperature, and then your delta temperature was 45.2 degrees. This is with the 3960X at 4.6 gigahertz, 1.425 volts, after V dropping down to about 1.41. Same motherboard, do you know what I mean? Not a problem, been there, done that loads of times. So that was the Corsair originals. NFF12s, They were about 1.2 degrees warmer with a 66 degrees average and a 46.8 degrees delta temperature. The Corsair fans, the SP120s, temp jumped up a little bit more. You're looking at 71.6 degrees for the, sorry, I'm reading the wrong ones. 72 degrees average temperature. I will get my words out. I really should have set this out a bit better. And then 48.1 degrees delta. So with the 48.1 degrees delta, that puts us about 1.3, 1.4 degrees warmer than the Noctua NF120s. So when we talk about that, essentially going a little bit warmer than the NF120s, I would say getting that close to the NF120s is actually quite an achievement. But the surprising thing I would say is that and I've did a test at 12 volts with all of them. I would say that the Corsairs are quieter than the Noctuas. If you went for just audible volume alone, so the noise levels alone, you would have to use the fan speed reducer on the NF120s to get them down to the levels of the Corsairs at 12 volts. They really are very, very quiet fans. Like I said, I was very surprised. Now, so we've got fans that are a little bit warmer, but they're much quieter, or not much quieter, but noticeably by me quieter, which is something I wasn't really prepared for. The only fans that really, because a lot of people don't like the Noctuas because of the colour. The performance isn't enough and they don't like the colour. And the only fans that I've really rated, other than the Noctuas recently, have been the Scythe Gentle Typhoons, or GT, in the 1850 RPM versions, because the slower spinning ones don't really deliver the temperatures. But with the 1850 RPM fans, they're about 2 degrees warmer on the H100 at 12 volts than the NF120s. So the Corsairs are about half a degree cooler, but again, they're much quieter than those Scythes. But the thing is like I said, a lot of people don't like the Noctuas because of the colour. Scythes are quite, they're grey and they get the job done. They're quite a neutral fan. A lot of people end up painting them. With the Corsairs, again, they're neutral, but you've got that customisable ring around the outside. You get the white, you get the red, you get the blue, so you can change them in and out. Nice and simple, really dead easy to do. If you want to get a little bit more in depth, it'd be no problem to whiz a lick of paint around that ring. You want to get even more in depth, you can have a different colour ring and then paint the fan blades as well, like a different opposing colour. There's endless options there that you could kind of do, which kind of, you know, make these fans a lot better. Like I said, they're very neutral, but you've got that customizable option. They're really quiet, they perform really well. You think, that's brilliant, but they're Corsair fans, they're going to end up being expensive. Because let's face it, we have got to a point where we generally have, you know, with a Corsair product, it's not going to be bargain basement. They make them with good materials. Generally the prices, I'm not going to say a little bit higher, but they are at the premium end of the market. No matter where they place their products, it's never bargain basement stuff, is it? You can find cheaper stuff, but the reason why it's cheaper is because they've cut corners in places, generally. So with these fans, I've got to admit, I was expecting them to be about 15 quid each. And yeah, that was the way I was kind of expecting. That was the price point I had in my head. And yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd have been around that price. So when a single fan come in at $11.99, I was like, nice, not too bad a price there. Not super cheap, but at the same time, not super expensive either. But Corsair have pulled out a bit of a blinder because they're bundling these in double packs. And the double packs, you can get a pair of the fans for $18.49. These are the prices I'm quoting off a Special Tech, by the way. So you can get a double pack for $18.49. Now the reason why that puts a grin on my face is that means you can get 2 of these Corsair fans for the price of 1 NF120. And you can't really get away from that fact. Are you really going to want to pay twice the price for a degree or 2? and then kind of go with that that colouring as well. Now I know there's people out there that have always been looking for a fan that's, you know, performs well but is of a neutral sort. I think you're all going to flock to these Corsair fans. I really do, like properly really do. But that's not the end of it. Not only have we got stuff that's looks nice, performs well, is quiet, is now actually pretty damn good price when you compare it with the Noctua fans. So maybe not with other fans, but with the Noctua fans, they make them, you know, pretty good price. 2 for the price of 1 kind of thing. But there's not many other manufacturers out there that have got fans that are in the same range and essentially look like the same thing. I mean, I know the actual blades of the fan look different. We've got, you know, more blades and stuff. But essentially, once they're spinning, you can't really tell the difference between the SPs and the AFs. So you can have a set of the SPs on your H100 or your water cooling radiator, whatever, and then you can have matching AF fans, so the airflow fans, which are designed for case airflow really, in your case as well, which is what I've done with this. Now I run these at 12 volts the whole time as well, and they do move an awful lot of air to the point where you can feel that these are moving more air than the SP120s. Obviously the SP120s are designed for static pressure, not just shifting air. I did try swapping them around. You don't really want to go there. These are definitely better in your case. These are definitely better on your radiator or your heatsink. We'll leave it there. But so then you've got the 120s, exactly the same rings. Put them in your case, scatter them around wherever you want. Awesome. Then they also do the 140 as well, because a lot of cases are doing 140 mils in the back like this. Really nicely fills out the back of the case. And surprisingly, if anything, the AF140 was the only fan that crossed my mind I might want to run the Corsair fan speed reducer on. It's not overpoweringly loud. I've most definitely heard a lot of other 140s be a lot louder than this. But if I was really, really picky, and I mean really, really picky, that would be the one that I would possibly, for my own personal rig, kind of do. I don't think any of you out there are really going to notice it that much, to be honest with you. So, yeah, so you've got the whole lot. You've got radiator stroke heatsink fans, you've got airflow case fans, you've got a 140 option in there as well. It's a neutral colour package, but you've got customisable rings. I don't really, it's well priced, performs well, quiet. Can you now see what I said at the beginning, where I really wanted to find something wrong with it, but they've just won me over? Now these are in, like I said, this is my interim rig. This is the rig that I'm using until I get Orca done. I'm going to continue using these fans. These are not coming out of this rig. These are going to stay in here for basically the life of this rig now. They are brilliant. A little bit too good. They really have won me over a lot, and by an awful amount, to the point where I've got fans for Orca here. That's not a problem. I've already picked them, know why I've picked them, got them, lovely. But now something's making me want to use these. It's got very, very confusing. I don't want even to go into that now. But another kind of thing that you need to think about, and it's kind of really expanding out from the basics of a normal review, is the fact that Corsair are really starting to tie the white, the blue and the red into pretty much their whole range. It's available in the individually braided cables. It's available on the fans. You've got the GS 800 had white, red and blue switchable LEDs in the power supply. You've got the Corsair Dominator Platinums, upcoming RAM, not out yet. Originally going to be released with white LEDs. You're then going to be able to buy other LEDs to go with it that you can get red or blue for. Start to see a bit of a theme here. I've not got it here at the moment, but it's in another rig. Again, the GS 800. It's got the little blue ring around the top of the power. Range just kind of shows that Corsair have really got their head down of late. And they're starting to unify the brand a lot more. Now that might sound like something really minor, but for someone like me that gets stupidly picky about aesthetics and wish you'd done this, wish you'd done that, wish you'd done this, they're starting to package it all up so much better now. It will make modders and builders and enthusiasts' life so much easier to make a good looking system, because they're going to have all the bases covered for you. All you've essentially got to do is pick the right bits. Do I need this? Yes. Do I want that? Yes. Do I want the upgrade pack, so I've got different coloured rings for this or different coloured lights for that? Yes. Grab those. You're going to be able to do it all. All it's going to be is a case of finding out where to get them from. So it's brilliant. So yeah, just to kind of reiterate, fan prices, the 120s, a single one is $11.99, dual pack is $18.49. The 140, a single fan is $12.49. I didn't see a double pack for those on the Special Tech website. It probably didn't look hard enough, but maybe it should come at under 20 quid for a pair. But that, guys, is why I just had to give them a gold award, because like I said, I looked and I looked hard, but I personally couldn't find anything wrong with them. As soon as they start being quiet at the Noctua fans, there's something up. So yeah, they've done a bloody good job on these. If they, I reckon, with considering that these their first lot of fans, I think with another revision or two, once they kind of tweak things a little bit, I think that these, or like they may have contenders for Noctua beating fans on their hands, but only time and how much money they want to sink into it is going to tell. But this feels like I've been recording forever, where I've done this so many times, but it's been quite a lengthy review just for a set of fans, really. So this is Tiny Tom Logan getting a suntan, out. Might help if I press the stop button rather than the menu button, because now I can't even see myself.